Tonight at 6, gathering to grieve. Families on the banks of the Potomac River visiting where loved ones' lives were lost just this week. Efforts to remember them and seek answers, that's ongoing. And wreckage removal is set. Sunrise tomorrow. Large pieces of the flights underwater will be brought to the surface. How it will work, as officials say the number of victims positively identified rises. And a tizzy over tariffs. The concerns after some call the president's tax on imports a trade war with American allies. How it could impact the cost of everyday goods here at home.
And it's been a cloudy day, as I told you yesterday, and we'll continue to see those clouds overnight tonight. What about temperatures, though? We'll talk about that coming up.
Plus, searching for childcare. Many families are scrambling for childcare after federal workers were ordered back to the office. We're digging into ways to stretch your dollar.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Good Sunday evening. Thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 6 o'clock. I'm Ben Dennis. We begin tonight's coverage on the banks of the Potomac River. Our coverage is continuing into Wednesday's deadly mid-air collision, killing 67 people. Just today, families of souls who perished in the deadliest U.S. air disaster in nearly a quarter century visited the crash site. A police motorcade accompanied them toward the wreckage. Those loved ones will continue to find ways of memorializing the lives lost as crews work to clear the debris from the river. We just received insight into that debris removal, much of it set to start tomorrow morning. Local, state, federal agencies just wrapped up a news conference about this a short time ago. DC News Now's Dave Laval joins us from Reagan National Airport, where that press conference just wrapped up not long ago. Dave, we know the total number of victims positively identified has gone up.
Well, that's correct, Ben. Recovery teams have found remains from nearly all of the 67 people who perished in Wednesday's mid-air collision over the Potomac River. The next step is about to start in this operation. 2 barges have arrived from Virginia Beach. They will be used to carry the wreckage of the American Airlines flight and the Army Black Hawk helicopter to shore. The operation begins tomorrow morning in 2 phases. Recovery of the regional jet first. That should last 3 days. Getting the helicopter out of the water will then commence. Members of the Unified Command said a short time ago 55 of the 67 victims from both aircraft have been identified, including 11 sets of remains found Saturday. DC Fire and Emergency Medical Services Chief John Donnelly is confident crews will be able to find everyone who perished.
If we knew where they were, though, we would already have them out. So we have some work to do as the salvage operation goes on, and we will absolutely stay here and search until such point as we have everybody.
Crews are expected to wrap up removal of the large debris around February 8th. They will then use salvage baskets to clear the remaining debris fields. Those operations should wrap up by February 12th. One D.C. police diver is recovering after he suffered hypothermia in the water. But again, removal of the commercial jet starts early at sunrise tomorrow morning. That should last about 3 days. Then recovery of the helicopter wreckage will start. We're live at Reagan National Airport. Dave Laval, DC News Now.
Thanks to Dave. Meantime, DC Fire and EMS thanked captains and crews of 2 cruise boats for supporting their teams during the recovery. The 2 boats, National Elite and Inner Harbor Spirit, served as command posts and rest areas for those hardworking first responders throughout their emergency response. We'll continue to bring the latest on that mid-air collision throughout our newscast tonight. Always find updates as well online 24/7, DCNewsNow.com. 6:04, turning to your weather now. Meteorologist Scott Sumner joining us live as we took a live look at the U.S. Capitol. The sun is setting across the DMV.
Yeah, plenty of clouds out there, unfortunately, not to give us the best sunset like we saw last night. Right now, we're seeing a temperature of 40 degrees with overcast skies in the Beltway and surrounding region. As we'll see, with those clouds coming into play, it might not be quite as cold as last night, but it'll still be chilly as the lows bottom out here around 34, 35 degrees, middle and maybe some lower 30s in and around the district here. Now, Groundhog Day, I talked about it. It was earlier today. There's our little furry friend. Yeah, he's blinking. He said this morning he saw his shadow. That means 6 more weeks of winter potentially. We'll see if that comes to fruition. In the meantime, a milder Monday on your headlines here, weather headlines, a breezy Tuesday. There could be a little wintry mix possibly on Wednesday. We'll break that down for you coming up in the main weather, and then some rain showers on Thursday. Again, all of this breaks down here coming up with my 7-day forecast.
All right, Scott. Well, all right, new tonight in Maryland, the state's attorney general is investigating a deadly police-involved pedestrian crash that happened last night in Oxon Hill. Officers say they found a car reportedly stolen earlier in the day in a parking lot on Oxon Hill Road near St. Barnabas Road around 8 last night. Police say they saw a woman get into the car and drive off, adding that they tried to stop her, but she took off before crashing in the same parking lot. Then she reportedly got out of the car and tried to cross I-495 on foot when she was hit by 2 vehicles. Police have not identified the woman, and body cam footage of the incident will be available in the next 20 days. In the district, police say they have arrested 2 14-year-olds and a 13-year-old connection to a robbery in Southeast Friday. Officials say the teens went up to a victim on 15th Place near Tobias Drive and demanded their property. The victim agreed, and the suspects were caught a short time later by police. They're all now facing a robbery charge. Staying in D.C., City Councilman Trayon White now fighting to keep his job after colleagues held an expulsion hearing this week after his federal bribery charge. At that hearing, White was able to make his case to avoid being expelled from City Council. Our Marielle Carbone has the latest from the Wilson Building.
Chance for Trayon White to make his case publicly in front of his council colleagues about why he should remain on the council. Now, at moments it was tense. There were some outbursts, but ultimately council is moving forward with the expulsion process.
It's not pleasant for the council to have to discipline a colleague.
In front of his council colleagues and surrounded by supporters, Trayon White appearing for an expulsion hearing.
On behalf of Councilmember Trayon White Sr., he denies those charges and specifications.
White is accused of breaking council code, accepting bribes in exchange for his influence on city contracts. An outside investigation directed by an ad hoc council committee finding substantial evidence he broke city law, pointing in part to a federal indictment against him.
The findings of this investigation by the ad hoc committee, I think, are clear that Councilmember Trayon White Sr. violated D.C. law.
But his attorney, Frederick Cook Jr., arguing the indictment isn't enough.
How do you balance an affidavit or indictment that says you did it against his constitutionally guaranteed right to a presumption of not guilty unless and until it's proved beyond a reasonable doubt in trial?
He also argued the city's Board of Ethics and Accountability should be investigating White, not the council members.
Nowhere in the D.C. Code is the council given any authority whatsoever.
Council has always had the authority to discipline its members.
Tension during and after the meeting erupting, while his supporters maintain council is in the wrong.
We feel that what the council is doing is invalidating the votes of the people of Southeast.
And council will hold that final vote on White's expulsion at the next legislative meeting. That is set for next week on Tuesday. If and when he is expelled, it'll then trigger a special election, which will be handled by the Board of Elections office. Reporting from the Wilson Building, I'm Marielle Carbone, DC News Now.
All right, thanks to Marielle for tracking that one. All right, in Virginia, lawmakers have rejected a bill that could have cut back on social media for kids. It would have allowed parents to block their children from looking at addictive social media feeds, as they're calling them. Supporters of the bill say the goal was to limit what kids see online and for how long. But a spokesperson for Facebook and Instagram's parent company, Meta, claims that algorithms on their sites already do that.
You go back to the very first days of Facebook, there were only chronological feeds or very, very nuanced algorithmic feeds that were basically chronological. So you just saw what your friends were doing. Same thing on Instagram. But now with the rise of AI and algorithms, we're getting much more content exposed to our children that they did not sign up for.
The algorithm's helping to take out what would be considered borderline content, stuff that doesn't necessarily violate our community standards, but might not be appropriate for a younger audience.
As it stands right now, Virginia law requires parental consent for kids under 13 to use social media. Well, for the second year in a row, Virginia State Senate has advanced a proposal to enshrine the right to birth control. The bill protects Virginians' access to different types of contraception like IUDs, birth control, and emergency contraceptives. The bill passed on party lines.
The majority of individuals who use contraception, particularly contraceptive medications, use it for essential health care to ensure that they are able to function on a daily basis.
Republicans expressed concerns about whether the bill protects access to abortion pills by mail. Switching gears, several puppies from Northern Virginia are heading to this year's Puppy Bowl. Abigail and Maya will be playing for Team Fluff. The puppies are from Operation Paws for Homes in Alexandria. After the big game, the two pups will head back to their owners. You can catch the Puppy Bowl February 9th on Animal Planet.